Hi, welcome to the Discover Your Path interview. And today I'm here with Corbin Sims, who graduated in 2016 with a major in finance and a marketing minor. And now his current role is as an operations manager with Amazon. So welcome, Corbin.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for being with us. I guess the first thing I want to know is, what is a typical day like for you in your position as operations manager?
Yeah, so currently I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania, at one of our really large warehouses, so a couple million square feet. And I'm actually in kind of what you'd call a stretch role. So my work day is from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I overlap with our day shift team a little bit, and then our night shift team as well. So I get in, and usually the start of the day, 2 to 5, there's some sort of meetings going on, as most of the senior leaders work day shifts. So that's when all the meetings and conversations happen. So whether it's long-term planning stuff like hiring or business strategy or safety meetings or really anything that needs to be discussed, that happens in between those 2 to 5 hours. Then once the meetings are done, I help prep for our night shift. So I look over the shift plan that they submitted to me, double check everything to make sure our numbers match up and we have a good plan for the night. And also I'm talking to the day shift team that's on site currently, and just finding out what issues they had, what went well, what didn't go well, what does night shift need to be aware of. And then my night shift managers get in around 5:36. And we kind of just go over the game plan for the day, discuss any big topics such as safety, if there's any HR things we need to be aware of, any initiatives, any fun projects we're doing. So just kind of making sure everyone's in the loop and on the same page. And then once shift starts, I have to report out to the senior leaders what's going on for the day, how are we looking, if there's any safety incidents, I have to report those. And really just there as like a resource for the managers on night shift for whatever they have. As night shift, if anyone who's worked it, like usually it's a lot less understaffed, so we have less HR, less help. So I'm kind of all of those roles in one and just help troubleshoot whatever issues they have. Then around 10 o'clock, I check in with them to see if there's any final things they need. And then I go home for the night, and Monday through Friday, that's what I do. So it's a little more macro, like bigger picture planning and support, and then just helping out on the daily basis with the individual shifts and kind of help grow and teach them as well.
Right on. Great. That was a great explanation. So my next question is, how did you get your job at Amazon?
Yeah, it was very interesting and maybe different from others who work for Amazon, but I obviously went to Central. I went there my junior and senior years. So my junior year, I went to our career fair, saw the Amazon booth there for internships, and I was looking for an internship as like junior year. That's the year you want to try to do those. So I applied and then heard nothing for the entire year. So I was like, all right, well, on to the next thing, and found an internship somewhere else. That I think in fall or winter of my senior year, I got a phone call from like a Seattle number, and I have family in Seattle, so I picked it up. It's like, oh, I don't know who this is. And it was an Amazon recruiter. And they're like, hey, we saw your resume in our internship pile, and we're actually looking to hire some college hires for a permanent position once you graduate. And obviously I was really excited and told them I was good to go for that. So the process was, I think, like 2 phone interviews. And then after the phone interviews, I had to go to Dallas, Texas for an in-person interview. And it was like at a hotel, and it was like they had like rented out a banquet room or something, as there was a bunch of us there, and they had like quite a few tables set up, and you just kind of did an interview circuit. So you talked to like 3 different people, had 3 separate interviews during the day. So it was kind of intense. It was the first like real serious interviews I had done. And then I went home and heard back about a month later or so that I'd gotten the position. And they like sent me a survey of where I'd want to work at, as there was no specific location to the job. So I filled all of that out, and of course they didn't listen to anything I wanted, and I got sent to Richmond, Virginia for my first role. So I was excited to do it though, first job post college and getting to travel and go to the East Coast. So I signed up, and it was just really nice having that like job security my senior year of college, knowing like I had a job already lined up. But it's very interesting, that's for sure.
Wow. Yeah, what a process. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. I'm guessing you didn't go right into this role. You had some earlier roles. So what were some of the earlier roles that you had in your field or with Amazon?
Yeah, I started as an entry-level manager, which is any college hire or even external hire. You usually start as it's called an area manager or a level 4 position. So basically, kind of the structure is you get put on a shift. So there's front half days, front half nights, back half days, back half nights. So 4 shifts in the building. You get put on one of those, and you have a team of area managers, so 2 to 4 somewhere in there, and then they report up to the operations manager who's like in charge, I guess, of the entire shift. So I started as a level 4 area manager working back half nights in Richmond. So I had a team of 2 other area managers and then my direct boss, who was kind of our shift leader. So that's a position where you just learn a lot and you have a ton of interaction with tier 1 associates. So the hourly associates report directly to you and you're responsible for helping them, coaching them, delivering any negative feedback if that comes up, any HR issues directly with them. So it's very hands-on for sure on a night-to-night basis. I think my first peak at Amazon, I had like 150 associates reporting to me. So like you have a pretty big team. So like a lot of your days just taken up checking in with everyone, right? So you want to make sure everyone's doing all right. Do they have any issues? Can you help? And then also in that, it's like making sure the operation is running successfully. And there's just so many things to learn. As anyone who works for like Amazon knows, it's very hard to kind of step into a role and understand the entire process. So, and a building, I guess, I don't know how much detail you go into, has an inbound team and an outbound team. Those are the 2 major processes. So inside of those 2 like umbrellas, there's a lot of different stuff to learn. So I was on the inbound team, so trying to learn the role and get to know my associates and build a good relationship there. So that's kind of what the early role is. And then you progress to a level 5, which is still an area manager position, but you're kind of recognized as a leader of area managers at that point. And then the next step after that would be to an operations manager, which is what I'm doing now. So instead of having direct hourly associates report to me, the managers report to me. So you're kind of a step removed from the process.
Nice. So a few promotions there along the way.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And a lot of working with people, right? Managing people.
Yes, that's all day, every day. It's definitely a stressful work environment. It can be, but it's also a really fun chance to get to like know your team and build a fun team environment for everyone.
So that brings me to skills and strengths. Like what skills and strengths do you feel like somebody would need to be successful in a role like yours?
Yeah, I think a few things really, but the biggest one is just like flexibility and adaptability as things change all of the time. So if you're someone that's like very concrete and like your day to be scheduled and you know what you're doing ahead of time, this may not be a good role for that type of person, as like every day new challenges happen. So various things can go on that lead your entire day to just change, right? So you could have a trailer that was supposed to arrive at 10 p.m. and it doesn't, and your entire day new shifts of what you're supposed to do. So just the ability to be flexible and adaptable and be positive, right? So like that carries all the way down to our hourly associates. So you're the person that if something goes wrong, you have to make sure your team has a plan and feels comfortable with it. Like COVID is a really good example. I know it's kind of current, but like with our job here, everything we do had to change. And the biggest thing was making sure like our tier 1 hourly associates felt safe. So it didn't really matter if we had to spend all this time to design new processes so everyone could social distance or whatever mechanism it was, like we had to change really fast and on the fly, but also make sure like our team was safe and accountable for that. So it's just a lot of flexibility and adaptability and communication. I would say is just being able to communicate the plan or communicate what you need your team to do clearly and effectively is really big. And then probably the last thing, like Amazon's motto is work hard, have fun, make history. And like that work hard piece is first there for a reason, is you do work hard and your days are very busy and you have a lot of responsibilities no matter what position you are. So just going with that mindset of we do work hard, but it is a really fun culture. Like as you can see, I'm not in a shirt and tie or anything right now. Like I'm in a t-shirt and a vest, and that's how it goes. Like when I went to my interview, they said no shirt and tie, and I was like, is this a trick? I don't want to show
Oh,
up and be like too
yeah.
casual, but that's kind of the culture, right? Is we don't want to be like stuffy and not able to change. It's very fast paced and current, and you get to work with just so many different people. Hire a lot from the military, a lot from college, a lot of external hires. So you just get a great, awesome mix of people to interact with and work with every day.
Wow, that's fascinating. All right. The last question I have for you is, what advice do you have for someone who wants to either work at Amazon or have a position like yours?
Yeah, I think getting the job, there's a few things that are important, especially like do well in the interview process. Is now I do a lot of interviews myself. And it's kind of cliche, but there's Amazon leadership principles. I believe there's 12 of them. If you're going to interview for Amazon, like please take the time to study and learn those, as all the questions are based off of that. Also, a lot of questions are based in STAR format. So that's something you can Google and just kind of learn the technique of how to present your stories and situation. And that's universal throughout the company, no matter what kind of job you apply for, it most likely will be STAR format. And like the one thing to say is there's a lot of jobs, like the company is growing exponentially. So use amazon.jobs.com, I believe. And if you're a recent college graduate, you'll be looking for those L4 positions, as that's the entry level position. I've worked with people that have history degrees, business degrees, teaching degrees. Like it's not like there's one set box that you have to do to like get an interview or get a job, but what they are looking for is like people with really good leadership skills. So whatever examples you have, whether maybe you're a leader, president of a club at school, or maybe you played sports at Central or something like that, is the kind of motto is we can teach anyone like the processes and the functions, but you can't teach leadership skills. So like being able to show that you've done something like that in a leadership capacity is like really important. Yeah, just do your research would be my advice. A lot of the stuff you can like find online and be prepared of what they're going to ask, and then just go from there. And also, it does help how flexible you can be. Like as I've shared in my story, I didn't get to dictate what location I wanted to go to. So if you're someone who wants to work only in Seattle, you may be limiting your possibility to get in with the company. Whereas once you're in the company, you have a lot of say. So if you're with the company a year and you want to transfer, you can go on our internal job network, which no one else can access, and apply to a job in the location you want. And relocation expenses are covered and all that kind of stuff. So my opinion, I would kind of take the approach is just get your foot in the door wherever you can. And there's just so many locations and so many jobs that eventually, if you want to transfer, you can transfer. Me personally, I did that. Got put in Richmond, Virginia, and I stayed out there because I ended up really liking it. But after 3 years, I was ready to move back to the West Coast. As I went to Central, I'm from Washington, and I applied to a role in Phoenix and got that transfer and was able to live in Arizona for the last year and a half or so. So like you can kind of make your own path once you get your foot in the door. So that would just be my advice: is don't be so concerned of maybe being in one exact spot, as that will definitely limit your ability to be hired.
Wow, such useful information. Thank you so much. I know there's so many students that want to work at Amazon, so you really broke it down well for us. And students, if you want to know about the STAR interviewing method, we can help you with that in career services. That's something that we do. Google it as well, but if you need interview practice, hit us up in career services. And just thank you so much, Corbin. It was great to have you. I think it was so useful.
I don't know if it should be too much of a plug, but I used to work at career services when I was at Central, and obviously from resume prep to the interview, all that stuff helped me get the job too, right? So just having those skills is awesome to do, and I'm really glad you guys are doing this.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you so much, Corbin. Take care of yourself. Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, will do. You as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.